Well, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host Tracy.
Hey y'all.
How are you?
I'm good. It's pretty good. I can't complain.
I
What
love
about you?
that top.
Thank you. It's a set and it has a skirt. This is actually it's not quite vintage yet. I Googled because I'm like Siri or Alexa, whoever, how old does something have to be vintage? And they told me 20 years. So it's not quite vintage, but it's vintage adjacent. This is an
How
old
old
outfit.
is it? Because it's really, because you actually, it looks like something I saw in the store not too long ago. The print.
So I had a conversation with my husband about it this morning. I've had this at least minimum 7 years,
Okay.
minimum,
hmm
because I had it before the pandemic, and I want it's old. It might be 10 years old.
So you had it at least 10 years. You had it.
No, I'm saying no. I bought it brand new,
Oh, okay. All right.
but
So
I'm saying like
it wasn't vintage.
no, it wasn't
Okay.
vintage when I bought it, but it's
Okay.
brand new. It was brand new when I bought it, but I was trying to figure out if it was vintage yet because I've
Mhm.
had it for so long,
Okay.
and
No,
I
not
have a
10.
lot of stuff that I've just had forever, and people be like, "Oh, that outfit." I'm like, literally, I've this is some old stuff that I just
One of my
pulled out the cut.
prized possessions is a vintage coat from Bonwit Teller. Do you know that store?
I've
And it
heard
has
of it.
a fur collar, three-quarter length sleeves. The wool, I mean, this coat feels like it's at least 20 pounds. I mean,
Mm.
just the craftsmanship of it is absolutely fabulous. And I got that coat for $90 at a vintage store in Rhode Island. It's no longer around, but it was like my first. I used to really go do a lot of vintage shopping, especially for old dresses, because I was on this big Lana Turner kick and
Okay.
had to have, and I am still a big fan of like 1950 dresses. Still,
Okay.
I always have a couple of pieces that kind of remind me of that, and I do have a couple of vintage pieces that don't quite fit me in the abdomen area anymore. So I got to get back to that because
That's why I love an empire waist, like an empire that just hits right under the butt. Ooh, love it. A baby doll, cute.
I I used to love a baby doll. My favorite is an A-line. Is
A-line's a
an
good cut
A-line
too.
skirt or A-line dress. That's my absolute favorite. But I used to have a lot of pieces, and I just don't anymore because there are not a lot of vintage shops. The last vintage shop I went to, I promise you, it had like an H&M dress in there, and I'm like, I'm done. You,
That's
this is
not vintage.
this is
20
not
years. Well,
vintage.
H&M has been around for a long time, but I have a couple of pieces that they're approaching it. I definitely have some handbags that are approaching
hmm
like the 10, 15 year. I feel like those should be considered
hmm
vintage. I feel like any time after before the pandemic is vintage now.
And I'm very upset with myself for getting rid of some, like, I had some Coach bags from like the 80s. And it was like that Coach leather that you just do not see anymore unless you're paying the extremely high end. And I'm like, I saw a video on Instagram of this guy cleaning up this Coach bag, and I'm like, God damn it, I should have saved it, but I did.
Yeah. Hold on to the bags. Hold
Yeah,
on.
hold on to them.
Shoes, if they're good quality to begin with, yes. But
Yeah,
if they were Payless, toss those and donate those. But
yeah.
if they were like good Italian leather or something like
Mhm.
that,
And you just
definitely,
didn't kill them.
yeah.
I
Or
mean,
but you can
you can always
resole them.
take them and get them redone. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get them refurbished. But yeah. How did we get on this conversation? Oh, you say you like my top. Thank you.
Yeah, I know because we have a few things that we got to discuss, and we got to discuss
Yes.
some very popular stuff going on in the
I
news.
know. I know.
Boston is in another chokehold,
The world, because it's beyond Boston.
and
It's
the only
beyond
reason I say
Foxborough.
Boston is we just ended an international scandal with the Karen Reed trial that just ended, and what, couple of weeks later. And here we are again, Gillette Stadium, last Wednesday.
It hasn't even been a full week, and the amount of memes, stories, reposts, DMs that I've gotten about this. And I mean, this has gone viral, it's gone worldwide. If people don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about former, I can say former because he resigned yesterday,
Yesterday.
former astronomer CEO Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot, Chief People Officer of
Dumbest
Astronomer,
name.
and their Coldplay kiss cam.
First of all, I woke up on Thursday morning at my usual 5 o'clock, and that was already circulating the internet. I had no idea it was at Gillette. I thought that it had happened somewhere, California or what. I had no idea that it was in Boston. I had no idea that it was just hours ago. Pretty much so, hours ago that this happened. And for it to get the amount of circulation and to go viral in the amount of hours that it did just goes to show you that honestly, the whole world should be on their best behavior because you just never know.
That listen, the internet is undefeated in getting their internet sleuth on. So just to flesh this story out for anyone who has no clue what we're talking about, there was a gentleman named Andy Byron who was at a Coldplay concert. He was in the stands, clearly visible to the kiss cam when he was seen holding in a very precarious position, holding
Just
it,
intimate. Why
his
he trying to be
employee.
all cute? He was intimately holding this woman.
Imagine someone giving someone else the Heimlich. That is the position that they were in. Definitely had his arms wrapped around her in a very intimate, like you said, position. And so, I mean, the issue here is not only that he's the highest position of power above this woman who is the HR manager, for lack of a fancier term. They called her chief people officer, but she's the HR lady, and he was holding her very intimately. Both are married, and Mr. Byron is the father of two children.
Unbelievable.
And they got caught on the kiss cam, the jumbotron. So that happens at ball games, it happens at concerts, and there's specifically a song that Coldplay, the band that was playing that night, Chris Martin started singing Jumbotron, which is the name of the song. So of course they're gonna put you on the Jumbotron. So you got to be prepared that, I mean, if you're a Coldplay fan and you hear Jumbotron start, that will be your moment to drop your arms down. But homeboy couldn't hold. He couldn't help it, and she's holding on to him for dear
Look
life.
at her.
They look like they're in love. I will tell you the one thing about this story that intrigues me the most is that they're about the same age. I like that. At least she's not 20.
Um, yeah, I mean, good for them. The thing that shocked me is that she had only been at the company for 9 months. So I wonder if they knew each other before, because 9 months is a short amount of time to be like, hey, let's go to the. No,
I
it's
don't
not.
think so. We've talked
You
about
hug
this.
up like that in public. Hey,
We've talked about this before on the podcast. So here's the thing: is one thing is people in positions of power, they forget they
mm-hmm,
forget themselves. They start to lose their minds and
mm-hmm,
forget that they also are under a microscope. Sometimes they feel untouchable. The other piece of that is, when you spend so much time with someone, as when you work with someone, and I'm sure being
yeah,
CEO, he probably has a talks to her a lot at
yeah,
work, for
mm-hmm.
hiring, interviewing, the whole nine, screenings, whatever. You spend more time with your coworkers than you do
This
your
is true.
spouse. You spend more time with your coworkers than you do your friends or
Mm-hmm,
your family. Those are the people you spend the most time with. Minimum 40 hours. If you're a CEO, he's probably spending 80 hours at work. If he was doing a good job, he's probably doing double that, working weekends, all of that good stuff, and calling her in and whatever. You build a bond with these people, and in these relationships. That's why there's so many written instructions when you start jobs about office affairs. Like, that's
mm-hmm,
one of the things that you get trained on almost immediately when you start any type of corporate level job, because they don't want people dating on the job, and especially
mm-hmm.
that power dynamic was just nuts.
Yeah. I mean, they do discourage that, and it does happen, and but they ask you to be, very transparent about
They
it.
ask
A
you
lot
to
of
go to HR if you're dating someone. She was like, okay, she
I
checked
am
that box.
HR,
She's like, I know about it. So
So he definitely he left, he resigned. So I'm wondering what the next step is for her, because how can she legitimately
she should be out of there.
go
She
to
should
her
be out of there.
team and be like, enforce anything? I mean, she couldn't tell me anything at this point. Ma'am, you were caught red-handed. And the whole duck out thing. I love the meme where I see meme where they show all the different ways you could have avoided not going viral
The
if you
AI
had just kind of
generated
like
one.
went into it, or leaned into it, started with no one would have known. No one would have
So
known,
there
especially Chris
was,
Martin.
but right. Well, so that's the thing, is that Chris Martin actually, when the camera got on them and they did all of that fumbling around because they were
Hmm.
caught, he said either you guys are super shy or you're having an affair. He
Hmm.
called it. And then what is this man supposed to do? He's on stage trying to do his job, performing. I'm doing the Chris Martin guitar, whatever, bass,
Hmm.
and they caught these people. I mean, it. Coldplay has, I'm sure they've gone viral. These people have gone viral. The third person that was also near them allegedly was a colleague, but then the company is saying that that's not
Yeah,
true.
People Magazine said that they're saying it's not true, but I just have a small theory on that, because one woman was saying that this woman, that third person has followed Kristen through every job that she's been with. So
Alyssa Stoddard is the
yeah,
name of the
so
person that they're alleging was also there. So there's another woman with her face is beet red. So we don't know if it's sunburn, embarrassment. I'm guessing embarrassment. Whoever that woman was, she may not be an astronomer employee, but she definitely was with them.
I feel like she was. And then the thing is, and you know why I think that she was, because she hasn't come out and said, I didn't even know these people.
Right.
Because that would be my moment. If that was me and I didn't know these people and you caught me laughing my ass off, Shahida would be telling crazy jokes at this point. I would be like, I was just an innocent bystander. And because she hasn't said something, makes me think that there is some relationship, at least between her and Kristen, that they're friends.
Something was
And
going on.
Kristen whispered something to her as well when she was trying to like lean away. So it wasn't like she wasn't talking to her. It's crazy how this has all got us like,
And you know
having
what it reminds me of? It was at the Today Show, the couple that what are their names? You know what I'm talking about? It was the black man and the white woman that were dating each other, Amy Roebuck, and remember the it was that couple, and they were having an affair and they got caught in the affair. It was either the
oh,
Today
on
Show or
one of the
Good
TV
Morning
stations.
Good Morning America, one of those
Yeah.
morning shows, and they're still together. They're still together, and their spouses hooked up with each other, and they're dating.
Are they dating still? Well, yeah. I did hear that they got together, but I didn't understand that if
I
they
don't know
were
if they're
really
still
dating.
dating, but they did a switch off, and it seemed to be
You said a
working for
switch
everyone.
off. A switch off. Yeah. That was wild. It's the
Yeah.
thing is, if you're let's I just want to bring up his so-called apology. Did you see it?
No, because I already knew it was going to be BS. As soon as I saw that it was on US Magazine, I was like, I don't even want to watch it because I
Uh,
know he lying.
I didn't it was just the last thing that he said. But can I bring it up? I'm trying to bring it up. I got too many going on here.
It's everywhere. That's the thing that's crazy. It's like it's everywhere. And I think so what's happening for me on my socials is sometimes before I even understand the context, I'm getting the memes.
Mhm.
So it happened with the
Oh,
Nicki
before you
Minaj.
even knew?
Yeah, the Nicki Minaj challenge, for example. I didn't even know that was a challenge. I just kept getting all these things with these women in high heels, like doing this weird squatting position
Oh, I didn't even know that was a
in
challenge.
their
Okay.
stilettos. And then I figured out later that it's a challenge that they call the Nicki Minaj challenge. I'll send you. I'll post one
I
onto our
hate
page.
Nicki Minaj, so I don't want to see shit that has to do with her.
You don't even have to see her face. Everyone's just
Oh,
doing
okay.
the
I
challenge.
do not like her. But the last paragraph of what this man says, first of all, he goes to, I'm sorry for my friends, my wife, my kids, this is not the person I want to represent, blah, 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 blah. But his last line is, I also want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone else's life into a spectacle.
So basically, not accepting his own responsibility.
Absolutely not. He absolutely is not accepting his own responsibility. Like, are you trying to blame this on Coldplay? Because
It sounds like the makings of the lawsuits.
for what? There's these kiss cams are all over in every single arena, sporting event. They do them all the time. How is Chris supposed to know that the way you broke off? I mean, it could have been a married couple that just didn't want to be caught in a PDA
The
moment or whatever. So his
so
little joke was not to bring shame on you. He just I, hey, a little jokey joke. They're either really shy or they're having an affair.
I'd
Just
be
happening
interested to
to
see.
do all
I'd
the
be
cheating.
interested to see if he sues Coldplay, because I'm serious. I the audacity to say something like that. But the way they were holding each other it's a jumbotron moment. So like when I'm at a Red Sox
100.
game, I my one of my dreams is to be on the jumbotron. So if I'm at a Red Sox game or a Celtics game, I'm waiting for my moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally when they start doing the dance challenge, I'm over there acting a fool too because I want to be on the cam. That's your
Mm-hmm.
time, your turn to ham it up or to really like play up to the camera. So if y'all are hugging on each other like this, rocking back and forth, and you're
They was
rocking
just
out to
doing
the
the
song,
music.
what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna pan on to you. Come on
Yep.
now.
And they had the good seats. They were in the box seats.
Right. That part.
So
That
you
part.
wonder if they were tickets given to them by the company, or were they in another company's box? I mean,
So
that
where's
was
their
a lot.
headquarters? Because what had me scratching my head is what were they doing at Gillette? I thought Astronomer was New York based.
I don't know. I was trying to find out, like, where did they live?
Right. Because so my thing is, did they go to Foxborough thinking no one's gonna see us here?
Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying? So why not come down from New
Mhm,
York if
mhm,
let's say if they're in New
mhm,
York or LA or whatever? Like what are y'all doing in Foxborough, Massachusetts? That's my
mhm,
question. Do you live
mhm.
out here? How'd you get but I'm just like honestly, I know their spouses are like I feel like livid because the way that the world is literally talking about this has gone beyond Massachusetts,
Mhm.
beyond the United States of America. This is all over the world. It's gone so viral in just a few days. I Their spouses must be going through it. Going
I
through it.
the woman had her Facebook and somebody did like screenshots. This woman literally had people from Ireland
I'm sure.
sympathizing with her. So when you say worldwide, you got people in
I'm so
whole
serious.
countries, continents, cities, all saying, they sympathize with you because your husband is a piece of trash.
So
Amazing.
someone went online, and of course this could be one person's opinion, and said that he was a toxic boss at
Yeah, I read that
a
too.
former employer. So
Mhm.
allegedly he wasn't a great, he wasn't the most He didn't have the most
pleasant
integrity.
person to work with
Yeah,
or
yeah,
for.
the pleasant person to
Mhm.
work with. But yeah, anyway, I guess, that's a little tea. In another 2 weeks we won't be thinking or talking about them at all, but their lives are permanently altered.
Yeah, yeah. But it's again, lesson learned. You
Yeah.
cannot the audacity for him to say a private moment taken public. No, sir. You should have taken your private moment to a hotel,
Sir, it's
to
called
a
creeping. It's
restaurant.
called creeping for a
Learn how to do
reason.
it. Learn
TLC
how to
wrote
do
a
it.
whole TLC wrote a whole song about it. So
Mhm.
I creep. I keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
Nobody is supposed to know. You're not supposed to go to a public venue
A
with
concert.
your boo who works for you. So you're already violating an HR standard right there by dating one of your employees. Sir, you got the whole plethora of other women to have an affair with. Why are you doing it with the woman from work who runs your human resources? So now they have a new, he had to step down because now they're compromised. The company culture is now compromised.
Mhm.
So they have a new person. So now, of course, this person now has to come in and crack the whip. This Kristen Cabot, there's no way in
There's
hell
no
she
way
can
she can
continue
still
to
be
do
there.
HR. There's
She
not anywhere. It's time for you to pivot, sis. You need to go take a training course somewhere.
Mhm.
Go to DeVry. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to pivot careers because human resource is not the place for you if you are breaking like the most basic of the company rules publicly.
And not to as I'm not you had this affair. Okay, this is bad. But the fact that you took it public or took it to a public venue and then had to it's if you all had been caught standing side by side, nobody would have guessed it.
No, they
You all,
wouldn't have made the Jumbotron if they were just acting freaking normal.
or acting like people who are out with somebody they shouldn't have been with.
Right, because the thing is that, it's not unusual. Like I worked at a job, I would get tickets to stuff and
Exactly.
I'd be sitting next to a colleague that I was not romantically involved with, but they gave us the ticket to them. The tickets were in a row. So I'm sitting next to Jeff and Jeff's got his kid, I got my kid on this side, but nothing is giving kiss cam vibes. You know what I'm saying?
See.
About our interactions whatsoever. Like we're keeping it strictly professional. But they were in an intimate embrace and it was begging to be and it was meant to happen. Obviously, it was meant to happen.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Before we move on to the next thing, I just want to quickly say, because I'm not going to get into a big discussion about this, but Nicki Minaj
Mm.
and her beef with SZA. And
Well,
her beef with just SZA, her beef with
everybody, her beef with
Casey, her
everyone.
beef with just every single body. It started with her beef with Cardi. And because I do like Cardi B. I mean, I know she's wild. I like her. I do like
Hmm.
her. And I think that on a whole, she's a good person. You might not like her music, you might not like her public persona or whatever, but I don't think anybody can say she's not a good person.
Yeah, she's very genuine.
I think she is, and I like her. And I when she first came out and she was excited about maybe doing something with Nikki or just meeting Nikki, and Nikki was so disgusting to her. I started disliking her then. Nikki is
Yeah.
not for other women. She's absolutely
She's
not.
definitely not. And you know what burns me about that whole beef with her and Cardi? So when Cardi first came out, I really didn't like her music, but I
Mhm.
was like, something about her. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you not like this woman? She's like, she pokes fun at herself. She pokes fun at where she
Exactly.
and she evolved as a musician. And I have grown to like some of her music. The fact that they both have Trinidadian roots, it
Mhm.
bothers me that those two women are infighting with each other instead of collaborating with each other. And that's
Mhm.
definitely the onus is on Nikki with that. I was in New York for Fashion Week when they had that big fight where the
Mhm.
shoe got hurled.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I was like literally at another I was at my hotel actually, and I was ready to throw my clothes on and run down to that event because I was like, maybe I can still catch some of what's going on down there.
Too
But I
funny.
remember that was so crazy. I'm like, shoes flying off, people getting hit in the head over what? And then the fans got really aggressive. Like, I think I was watching Instagram. People were like, I'm booking a flight right now. I'm coming to New York. I'm coming to beat Nikki down. Dude, I was like, oh my gosh, these fans are so overzealous. But yeah, Nikki, instead of being like an example, because she had, she's done her share of good music. She's not a bad musician, but it was an opportunity for her to lift up other female artists. And they
And she's
actually
never.
sounded
She's
they
never.
sounded so good on the Motorsport was a song that I remember them doing together. And
Mhm.
that was like right around the time that Cardi and Offset started dating each other. Is it
Mhm.
Offset? I think it's Offset. She's
That's
dating.
who she was married to. I don't know if
Yeah,
it was
she was
anybody else.
married.
Mhm.
But so the Migos were on that track, and then Nicki and Cardi were both on that track. And I'm like, this is a great moment for them.
Mhm.
And it was like she just cannot see herself. But do not come for SZA. That's the key, that's the straw
Mhm. Well,
for
and that's
me.
basically what the internet is saying. I know. I don't. I think I was reading something like SZA had a few tall tales that she was telling or exaggerations or whatever, and people were like, yeah, that's all well and good, but the way that Nikki is coming for her again, it's Nikki was like, trying to attack her. I know this woman is not saying that she's a better rapper than me. She can't even sing. Her singing on every track has been like auto tune. She sounds like a squirrel. Just stupid stuff. But
I've seen SZA perform live, so
mhm,
please don't tell that lie. That's a tall tale right there.
but it's just jealousy. It's absolute, just like with Cardi. It's jealousy. You notice whose name she keeps out her mouth is Beyonce because she
She
comes for
doesn't she
everybody
doesn't
around in
doesn't
her
come for
circle.
Beyonce, but she was just bothering Megan here the other day.
Megan, princess. I mean, not princess, Duchess
No,
Megan.
Megan the Stallion, the other
And
princess
I like
Megan.
Megan too.
Yeah.
And I like
So
her too.
yeah,
She don't
she
bother
came for
nobody.
Megan. She came for Megan. It's like um
Why?
Nikki, you got your own stuff going on, your own personal
Husband
life
is
to
a
deal with.
pedophile.
Okay, there's that. Brother also sketch.
Isn't
And
the
your
brother in
son,
jail?
and
Oh no,
I
she
don't,
bailed him out. She bailed him out.
yeah, I don't like to talk about people's children, but her son is appearing to be nonverbal to me as
I've never.
a mother of a kid on the spectrum. I don't see her son talking, and he's like 4.
Mm,
So I'm
mm,
like, why don't you handle your business at the house and leave these girls alone?
mhm.
Or just
But
make good music. Make good music. Make a makeup line. Look at Rihanna. Do you see Rihanna out here fighting with these girls?
but the girls are not fighting with her. I mean, you're picking these fights. But
Yeah.
again, it comes down to, at first I tried to give her some leeway. I understand if you're at the top of your game and it's just you're the only one, and then seeing people come, after you, it is on you. The onus is on you to lift them up, grab their hand, because there's always enough room for everybody to do their special line in music. There's so many genres of it. Find your lane, stick to it. And if somebody else is in that lane, so what? You
But
have
SZA's not even a rapper. SZA's not even her direct
I don't even know
competition.
what she's doing, but she's a horrible, miserable person, and somebody really needs to grab her and figure out what's going on with poor Nicki Minaj. Because I mean, when I
Yeah.
say poor Nicki Minaj, it's not like I care a whole lot, but I'm just saying
Where are
something is
veteran
obviously breaking down.
our veteran females? Lauren Hill, Queen Latifah, MC Like, Brat.
Who
Come talk
came
to your
for Queen
girl.
Latifah?
She's a
She had
nut.
beef with Queen
She
Latifah.
did. How?
I
Who?
know. I
Why?
I was shocked to read that too, and then I read some of the screenshots that people put out. I was like, who has beef with Dana Owens?
I would be scared to have beef with Dana Owens. Number one. Number two. What is there not to like? She's a powerhouse, and she seems to be an amazing person. Like,
Hmm.
she's an actress. She does Broadway. She's a musician. I mean, she's a multi hyphenate that actually can do all the hyphens
I don't know what the
exceptionally
beef
well.
is about, but she came for her as well, which is absolutely ridiculous. Again, she comes for everybody. There's
That's
something
okay.
when you have that much vitriol in you and you can't be happy with your millions, man. Because if I got as much money as you claim that you have, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I guess they say that the thing is true is, money
But
doesn't.
her own sis isn't her own sister fighting with her right now?
Who knows? Probably. I
I
didn't know
think she
about it.
is.
Her
Yeah,
sister.
I think her own sister is in like a little kerfuffle with her right now.
I
I
didn't
don't
even know Nikki
follow.
had a sister.
She does. They kind of look alike. I
Okay.
forgot her name. It's like China Doll or some kind of name like that that the sister has. But yeah, I don't think they're seeing eye to eye either. So it's like if you're
Always
the common
something.
denominator,
Mm-hmm.
I
In
mean,
everything, in every beef, it's you, ma'am. It's you. Oh,
mm-hmm.
speaking of beefs, so Essence Fest was a week or 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, it was
and
like July 4th week of
yep.
July 4th.
Mhm. So
Mm-hmm.
it was 2 weeks ago, and people, complaining that it wasn't really as good, didn't pop off that we usually do. There were no big names that I heard of being. I mean, it was like the regular group of people that usually always come to Essence Fest, but
Mm-hmm.
usually there's like a huge name that for that like last night that everybody's drawn to. I didn't hear about that, so they're blaming it on that there weren't enough American vendors or performers. That's what some of the internet is talking about. I don't know about the performers because it's basically all, but that it wasn't a good show. But they're blaming it specifically on the internet. That's the difference, on Africans. So I don't know what the whole deal is with what's going on with that controversy, but I have noticed an uptick in African American versus Africans and Caribbean people.
Mm-hmm.
All of them saying, you don't have a culture, you don't have a culture, you don't have a culture, or you copy my culture. And it's been a lot. And there has been a lot of distrust. There has been a lot of animosity between the groups, especially like in the 80s. And my thing is, we don't need to keep talking about what other group is better because we all
Right.
basically came in on the same ship. We've all been dropped off to different places, but also we know where this beef comes from. We did not
Right.
create this dislike of each other. This was something that was created to keep us separate and fighting. So I'm not going to expand on what happened at Essence Fest or what else is going on. I just want us to stop it, to acknowledge that we all have been hurt by it. We've all been hurt and we've all participated to a point in some of it, pointing at, other people or whatever. And we do need to have a bigger discussion. But we need to keep, no matter what we are about to say or what we are about to think about the other, think about where that seed came from.
Right.
White men created that seed in us. White men had us calling Africans, what is it, jungle bunnies, disregarding the whole continent of Africa, saying the same things about Caribbeans. We all share basically the same culture. It has definitely, spread. We have different parts of it, but we're basically the same people. So I need us to stop this infighting because it's disgusting. We we all look this way. And at the end of the day, when you get pulled over by the police or I get pulled over by the police, they're not going to look at you and say, oh, this Honduras woman. No, this Black woman.
Right.
When they look at me, a descendant of slaves whose family comes from, the deep south of Mississippi and East St. Louis, they're not going to be like, oh, well, she's Black American. That definitely going to get me nothing. Nothing more than you, nothing more than the Dominican, nothing more than a Jamaican, nothing more. Because at the end of the day, all of us are going to be called the N word and all of us are just Black to them.
So I think I know where this spawns from. So the new head of Essence is a Kenyan woman. Her name
Mm-hmm.
is Caroline Wanga, and she herself, I watched her talk in person at the the How to Boston Wild Black Summit about how she got so much backlash and so much hate, like
She has
messaging
inside scoop.
about the fact that she's had in heading Essence. African Americans were telling her that she did not belong there. So I think all of this, there's too many Africans here, comes from, like, it's a subtext of that dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you she's probably the most amazing person that they could have running Essence right now,
She's
she
our
actually
cousin.
she took Target to where they belong.
Mm-hmm.
So Target got where before we started boycotting them. Actually, we started boycotting them when she left
Mm-hmm.
because they dismantled all the amazing things that she created at Target
Mm-hmm.
for us and by us.
Mm-hmm.
So having her at Essence is actually a wonderful thing because Essence needs CPR very badly right now. They're
Mm-hmm.
floundering. All magazines are floundering. Let's be honest. Like, I don't look at their digital magazine. I get a couple of emails from them. I may click on it, I may not. I don't subscribe to the magazine anymore. And Essence was a big part of my life growing up. We
Mm-hmm.
got Essence magazine in our household. When I got grown and was able to get my own subscriptions, I ordered Essence magazine. I have not subscribed to a magazine in at least 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So magazines, like, the thing to keep Essence going is the Essence Festival and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I find it hard to believe that it was dominated by African vendors. And if that was the case, then it meant that the Africans are the ones that are actually helping to support this cultural icon.
Mm-hmm.
And where were the other people? No one's stopping you from becoming a vendor. Where were, if you felt like there
Price
weren't
tag,
enough
because
African
it's like
American vendors, go out
$1,000
there,
on a vendor.
and support. Go out there and support. But I know a young woman. She's from Providence. I won't say too much about her business, but she runs a business here in Providence, and she spent, like, I think 10 or
Mm-hmm.
20,000 to vend at Essence. Maybe
It made
last year or the
nothing.
year before, made nothing, came out in the hole and had to do a GoFundMe because Essence is not, their vendor shops are not making the money that you think they're making out there. It's more visibility and more branding. So if anything, they're coming out at a loss when they go out there and vend.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you don't like the African vendors, keep it pushing. I don't go to Essence Fest to shop. Like, who's going there to shop anyway? Target was a big sponsor. There were other corporate sponsors too, but the issue that these groups are having is that they have to rely on small businesses to keep it going because so many corporations. So again, that big bad colonizer is pulling their support from
Mm-hmm.
DEI and from all these initiatives. So that money that they were getting before is drying up. So they have to rely on small vendors and they're going to take who they can get. And if that be Africans, that's who's coming.
And then also too, think about it. Like you just said, that vendor from Rhode Island, 20,000, 10. I think she spent like $10,000 to $15,000. That's
Yeah.
one person. Now, the better thing would have been to team up. But when you have a place like Essence Fest, and it's what, it's 3 days, 3 weeks, and all those different vendors, they're actually making their money from the vendors. Most of those vendors are not going to get 10,000, $20,000 back. So if anything, if you want to be mad, I would be mad at the person that set that charge at 10, 50 for a small business. You need to be going after the Targets, the Gillettes, and them to donate and get, sponsorship from them so that the smaller vendors can afford it. $20,000, $10,000 is insane for a small business. And you're really taking a big chance. But that's going on another tangent. My thing is just I get some of the frustration because we've been conditioned to feel that way. But it is 2025. We should be more woke than this. We need to awake more from this. We need to understand how around the world we all have a reputation of being lazy, being shiftless, after slavery was over, after people, took advantage of our labor and paid us nothing. And that's Jamaica, that's Haiti, that's all these other countries, all these dark people. And we're fighting each other instead of fighting an oppressor, instead of fighting these insurance companies, instead of fighting like these mega landlords. We're fighting each other.
It's the low hanging fruit. It's the low hanging fruit, right? It's the person in front of you that you're gonna
Hmm.
try to kick while you're down. But
Hmm.
I kind of experienced something like this last night. So I went on a boat ride. Our Honduran boat ride that we have every year is called Togetherness. Shout out to Unice Productions, Eunice Johnson. She throws amazing events. So we have these cultural events. She does this boat ride. And so it's open to everyone. She doesn't say, oh, you have to be Honduran to go on this boat ride, or you have
Hmm.
to be XYZ. Tickets are on sale to everyone. So at the end of the night, I encountered these women that were kind of there, and I knew immediately that they weren't Honduran. Like I could tell.
Hmm.
But I just
Hmm.
started talking to them anyway because we were like approaching the dock. And so one woman, there was a theme. And so the theme was animal print. I had on animal print. This black woman had on animal print. They were all black women. But something about the woman kind of told me she wasn't Honduran. Then I started talking to her, heard her accent, and could tell that she was from Africa. So I was like, how'd you enjoy it? And I started telling her a little bit about Honduran culture, blah, blah, blah. So we're having a good dialogue exchange. To her right is her American friend who just had a sourpuss the entire conversation. And I was like, did you have a good time, like trying to like bring her into the conversation? And she's like, no, and I won't be coming back.
Damn. Okay.
And so they both said they didn't know it was a Honduran event. And I'm like, well, now that you know that it is, like, you know, did you enjoy it? Because we we do have some cultural differences, right? So
Hey,
we
and
use
we
a
should
lot
love and
of
respect those.
drums, right? So
Uh-huh.
Honduran music, especially Garifuna music, uses a lot of drums. We had our own drummers there.
Hmm.
So the African woman was like, I was so surprised and I love the drums and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, being African, that's a direct tie-in, because like you said, it's just like we just got dispersed, right? But they
Hmm.
took African culture, which was the drumming. But her friend, the African American woman, was just like, she hated the whole thing. She was like, the people on here are too geriatric for me. Ma'am, you're my age, if not older. And yes, there are a range of people on this boat from 18 to 80, but that's how we get down in the Honduran community.
Hmm.
It's not an age limit. And when I tell you, we turned up, we had food, we had music, we had camaraderie. But this
Hmm.
woman, she was like insulted that she felt she had been bamboozled to go on this cruise that she didn't know
Did
was
she
Honduran
not
people.
read and have any kind of reading and comprehension
I
skills
mean,
to know exactly where she was going?
it didn't say. I'm trying to think of the flyer. Like, did it say? Like, we just know that it's our thing, and it's in conjunction with the picnic that we also have, like, on the same weekend. But I think Eunice, being a smart businesswoman, maybe she didn't put the Honduras stuff on there, but it said togetherness, and everyone who knows Eunice knows that she's Honduran, and the people who her main clientele are Honduran people. But there were white people on the boat. Okay,
Mhm.
there were Honduran people that look native indigenous on the boat. There were
Mhm.
people that looked black like me on the boat. There were people that looked like the African woman there on the boat. So until I started talking to her, I thought she was Honduran too. This woman didn't, she was not feeling it. She was like, I won't be back. I was
But
like,
see,
all right.
that's the kind of ignorance that we need to start addressing in house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing not to have a good time, but it's also another thing too when you go someplace and it's not what you expected, and you try and say, you know what, this isn't what I expected. But I'm going to try and enjoy myself anyway. I'm going to try and appreciate what these people are bringing anyway. And to have you reach out to her and then try and have and still be stink. That's the level of ignorance that unfortunately
It's
people who are
divisive.
it's extremely so. I mean, I think we all have our stories. I know I have my story of me being ignorant to somebody of Caribbean descent when I was younger.
I,
Um
me too.
very, but I have grown since then, and I have stories of somebody from, African being extremely rude to me as an adult. And I took offense when this woman clearly did not want to have shit to do with me because I was African American. And she said all the things that white racist people said about African Americans. She didn't want her son playing with my son. It was very disgusting. And,
Mm,
and I could have said these African women, all these Africans or whatever, but I knew where she got that from. And I'm better than that.
yeah,
Had she got me when I was maybe 18 or something like that, no. But I have
yeah.
since learned growing all the time that, those kind of ideas are ideas put into us by a white society that wants to keep us separated and not fighting them
And then they get
instead of each
perpetuated in the household. So part of it is as parents, like
other.
think about the maybe some things that you heard growing up as a child, maybe not even from your parents, but maybe from teachers or from other school children
Mhm,
about other cultures. And that's why I think it's so important to travel. And I'm always telling people like, oh, I had a baby, so I can't travel. No, take your child when they are young and take
mhm,
them around the world
take 'em
so they can
everywhere.
see different kinds of people and
Mhm,
experience other types of cultures and experiences, because we do share a common culture of blackness, but we also have so many rewarding things to share that are different and unique depending
from
on
each
region,
country.
country, all of
Mhm.
that stuff. But to look down on other black people is diabolical
It's absolutely
within the
diabolical
culture. And
within. Because it doesn't,
that's
how has it moved us forward? Because we're all going backward now. So me hating you 20 years ago or talking about you, we are literally in the same boat right now.
but
You're in a worse boat because you might be one of the ones that, this government decides, you know what, you have to go. And when they talk about birthright citizenship, do I not know? Have people in my family that might be affected by this? This is what we should be fighting, not each other.
yeah. It's terrible. And I, like you said, I mean, I've had experiences from the 80s where maybe I said some unpleasant things about people because that was what was being said around me, not necessarily in my household, because we didn't really have that. Well, I take it back because in Honduran culture we have our own dynamics too within our own casting system, and
Mhm.
it transcends color because there are different groups of black in
Yeah.
Honduras. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't understand that. So there's like the Garifuna, and then there's the English. Like last night, I was having that conversation with people. Like when we were just talking and meeting each other, people were like, "Oh, are you English? Or are you Garifuna?" So as regardless of my skin complexion, I could be from a different cultural sect
Mhm.
within the Honduran culture, and I happen
Mhm.
to be English. But
Mhm.
we've learned that Garifuna is something that we should honor now because they've maintained most of their African culture. So
Mhm.
these are all things that we are learning and evolving as a people too. But we, like I said, no one ever said, oh, you can't come on this boat because you're African. I don't even know how they found the event. I'm like, how did you guys even find this to buy
Mhm.
tickets to get on it? Because they completely did not know where they were going. Like I don't think I would get on a boat full of people not knowing who I was going to be on there for 3 hours with. But
Hello. Don't we have enough problems with boats? You need to know
so
where
it's
the
I don't
boat
know.
is going.
When we were
Who was
getting off,
commanding the boat?
when we were getting off, one of the guys was like, "Be careful, guys. I heard there's an auction happening when we get off the boat." It was
Not playing.
listen, and
No.
but we were just laughing and giggling because we
Yeah.
had such a good time. We ate, like I said, we like when I tell you we had food, like plates
Mhm.
of food, like a full meal, soup, okay? And we had a
Mhm.
beautiful night. It didn't rain. It was
Mhm.
gorgeous weather. And the music, I mean, from the time you set foot on that boat until you got off, the music played. And there was
And I
two
don't understand
floors.
how the African American woman was so offended by it. I mean, like, we all know culturally, drums is at the base of all of our music.
She didn't like any of it. And she said that the people on the boat were too old. I'm like, well, who, and I think I might have said, well, who did you want to be on the boat with?
How, and you
Yeah,
said she was your age?
at least my age, if not older. But like I said, Honduran culture, you are gonna see 80-year-old women dancing
Mhm.
at these parties. You're gonna see 60-year-old. And the
And I
women
want to.
outnumber the men.
and I want to. I
Yeah.
want to see senior citizens because I'm right there behind them, still partying and having a good time.
It gives me something to aspire to when I get older because I'm like, culturally, I can live a vibrant life. I'm not shriveled up and in a home. If I have
100%.
breath and life and movement in my body, I'm gonna move my body until the end. That's the gift that I've gotten from my culture. I'm like, I'm happy to be dancing next to an older woman. The woman who throws the event is an older woman. Like like I
She
don't
did
know what you
nothing.
thought was happening.
She did nothing to research that. I mean, and granted, you don't do a lot of research. You see something and it sounds interesting or whatever, but if you're that picky, then you need to know where you're going. Like you and I might see the flyer and be like, "Oh, that looks interesting," or whatever. I'm not going to be like, "Oh, so long. Oh, I didn't know that it was a Honduran thing." I'm going to usually kind of check it out what kind of party it is.
Or
This
if
one
I didn't know and I find out by surprise,
I'm going to have
surprise.
fun. I paid to be here.
How about the kicker was she didn't even do the theme. Her friend did the animal print theme. This lady had a graphic t-shirt on. I'm like, that's why you didn't have fun. We was all in there looking cute, sis, and you didn't come on theme.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. She
So,
sounds like a lot of the major problem that we have. I was listening to another podcast from across the pond, and one of the arguments that they were having, and they're very progressive. Most of them are Caribbean as well when they're over there in London,
yeah.
usually coming from like, Jamaica or something. And so there was a big discussion that they didn't want, not them, but some organizers for a Caribbean festival did not want any other groups to join the Caribbean festival. So usually there would
Mm,
be like some Black Americans, on it, and they didn't want any of the groups. Stop.
yeah. So
Well,
I can tell you about that. So what's interesting is that Hondurans have always been accepted at these Caribbean carnivals, and we are not in the Caribbean. We are in Central America,
mhm,
but we have somehow, because a lot of our culture overlaps with
yeah,
their culture, and there's also some roots too, like
mhm,
based on the way the slave trade was set up, and our musical taste also very much mirror Caribbean music, more
mhm,
so in the black side of Honduras. Our our taste musically lean more towards Caribbean and like a little bit of mix of the Spanish music. So we've
mhm,
adopted a lot of the Caribbean type culture from there. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, like in Boston, Haitians, when they started wanting to get involved with the Caribbean carnival,
mhm,
when they I first saw Haitians in the Caribbean carnival, I was like, what are they doing here? I'm like, but they're in the Caribbean.
uh-huh,
But
mhm,
that's like that was that mentality of like needing to be more understanding culturally of the fact
mhm.
that Haitians are indeed Caribbean
Yeah, yeah. It's
and
it's
belong there as much as anybody.
we have a lot of work to do internally. Again, like I said, I don't want to point fingers at any group. I don't, because I feel no matter what, every group feels that the other group did them incredibly wrong. So let's acknowledge that hurt. Let's apologize for that hurt and that pain that we may have caused at a time.
Yeah.
But we have to leave that in the past because it's done, and it was done, and it was done by all of us, not just one group, all of us. We all need to take responsibility to that. We need to raise our children much differently. We need to chastise them when we see them do that. I remember when my mother heard me say some stuff derogatory about, I don't even know what you, checked my ass, checked me
Mm-hmm.
hard. Heard my grandson say something, checked him hard on that. There's no way that we are ever going to call each other any type of derogatory name that some other group has
Mm.
said to us. We are
Yeah.
not going to do that going forward. So whatever happened in the past, that's it. That's it. Let's move forward and let's keep this conversation going because we have to consistently keep reminding each other that we have to love each other.
Yeah. We
We
have to
have
do
to love
better.
where we came from. We have to love where we ended up. And respect those cultures and those people that came from those cultures. But at the end of the day, this is us.
Hmm. And like you
Period.
said, like from the outside, like, and you know, we are dealing with this, every single day, and we can be impacted by racial disparities just because of the outside shell, like you said, and no one's deep diving to find out where my parents were born.
Mhm,
If they're trying to do something, you know terrible to me, then they just see the outside,
mhm,
and that's a problem. And we do need to do better, and we need to stop playing a blame game. And you have to understand, these
yeah,
corporations, and one thing I think about is like the upcoming Boston Wild Black family reunion that's happening this Saturday, July 26th. They have lost a ton of corporate sponsorship. So they have come to small businesses like us. We're one of the sponsors as a small business,
mhm,
because all of that DEI fakeness has dried up. And so now they're
mhm,
turning the tables, and they're saying, we're not going to give you the 20 grand we were giving you before. The same thing is happening with Afrotech. So now they're relying on smaller businesses. And who are they to turn that money away? If turning that money down from these
mhm,
vendors that they had means you're not going to get the Essence Fest treatment that you are used to. You're going to
mhm,
get it on a smaller scale. And who wants to go to a thing that has been so bold and so brilliant for years and find that it's scaled down? You're going to
mhm,
talk shit. When you
mhm,
get there, like, oh, I was here in 2023 and it was dot, 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 dot. It's only going to go downhill if they don't get that money, and they have to get the revenue from somewhere. Now,
mhm.
if all the vendors were uh from Czechoslovakia, I would have been like, what's going on, Essence? But if they're Africans, like, come on, relax.
But a lot of it too, as far as like Essence, Essence Fest started out with a group. What was it, like 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago it started. I was actually living in Mississippi and I went to the second one.
The festival.
Yep, festival. And to be honest, the same type of lineup has come to Essence Fest. So the group is our age group, right? So what Essence Fest is, the onus is on them at this point, is they have to liven it up and bring in some younger acts. Because right now, to me, the acts are my age, and many of us may not be here anymore. Got health issues as far as health issues are happening with people within our age. They just need to keep growing. They've gotten to the point, they had this formula, they had the perfect sauce, and what was it, 2003, whatever, the perfect sauce. Well, you know what? The sauce is a little stale now. I didn't have that. We need to
Yeah.
move on. You need to grow. You need to consistently grow. So, like every 10 years, you might need a change. You can't keep depending on what was going on in 2003. And I'm talking about for us, but also for the promoters.
But the thing is it time to just shut it down? Do you know what I
I didn't
mean?
know. I'm not saying shut it down. I
But
think
saying some things have their season. If you're saying that, it's like one of the magazines I used to read when I was a teenager. That was the bomb magazine. It was called Sassy. I remember it. And I
Mhm.
don't think Sassy is around anymore because we all grew up and they
Are
didn't.
you talking about the magazine or Essence
I'm
Fest?
just saying in general, but even like the
Mhm.
festival, if the formula is like, how do you not alienate your core, which is our age group, right?
Mhm.
That grew up on Essence. You start to try to do this new thing. Our age group is going to be like, you're pushing us out, right?
In most, oh god, and this is what that drives me crazy about everybody has to be satisfied to a group. Like, I mean, to me, having Essence Fest, and you could have one night that is geared towards people our age, that same old crowd. But there has to be a way where you can be a little bit more creative and bring something else to it. I don't want to see Janet Jackson. I don't.
Really?
No. I'm done with
I would
Janet.
go see her. And now that she's allegedly dating Maxwell, oh, if they came out together, girl, yes.
I'm done with Janet, with her I didn't know Kamala was black shit. Done. Done.
I honestly, it's fine. Just do the Control album and the
Yeah,
Rhythm
yeah.
Nation. I
But
don't
you
even
know, and that
care.
old school stuff, one day I'm there for it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the whole weekend geared towards my age group. Be a little bit more creative. Instead of blaming it on the Africans, how about we just do something a little bit different, upgrade it a little? It's the sauce. Like I said, the sauce is not working from 2003. It's time to add something else more to it. And I don't
Yeah.
think we should get rid of it because I think it could be, I mean, it's always been almost like a Black girlfriend's weekend. And you want to keep it that, add something to it. I don't know what it is that you can add, but there are people and there are age groups that can kind of figure it out to make it, to come up with something. Let's start listening to all age groups across the board, because that's another thing I'm tired of. I'm tired of young people pointing at us and saying that we're too old and we're not progressive enough. I'm tired of older people pointing at young people and it's like, oh, those millennials. There's a fine line. There's a middle ground for all of us to have a good time,
But this
and
is
we
what I'm
should have
saying. Learn. So the moral of the story is model after the Hondurans. Okay. Because
it.
like I said, it was 18 to 80 on that boat, and we all turned up. And wasn't nobody
Mhm.
amongst us that knows that's how we do. It's not about a young, or old, or anything. A girl did call me ma'am in the line. I didn't like that very much, but she was respectful.
Mhm,
But I'm
mhm,
like, that just goes to show you the age range that was
mhm,
there, and we still have a good time. They had an after party, girl. They were trying to invite me over there. I was like, I'm going
uh-huh.
home.
Yeah, there's something else that could be worked out, but again, it's all about bringing all of us together, and all this pointing and separating. No, we got to be better than that. We have to be better than that. We have to make sure that the next generation is not carrying that same old nasty luggage. That shit is old and is played out.
Right.
Do better.
Definitely. I
Do better.
agree. I agree. Well, I
So
think
on
this,
another note,
yeah. What you got?
so remember last week, and I talked about, oh no, not last week because we had a repeat episode. Hello. But before then, I talked about my social media and that I was on the phone too much. And last week, my interaction on the phone went down 77%.
Ooh, go
Down
ahead,
to
Shahida.
2 hours a day compared to where it was like 9 hours a day. Now the games still have me in a chokehold, but I had, and then you know what the sad thing is once I saw that and I met that goal, I was on Threads this morning, just like scrolling crazy. And that was only because I was interested in all the funny stuff about like the people from Gillette from the Coldplay concert.
So maybe you can give yourself a cheat day, just like with the diet. You know what I mean? Like
But mhm,
maybe
mhm,
one day you give yourself extra time, like on the
mhm.
weekends.
Yeah, or after my work is done.
Yeah.
After the work
Oh,
is done,
not during,
that
not
I
during.
have to then excuse me? What'd you say? What'd you say?
Not during work.
Yeah, I was doing that
Not,
too.
we would never do that.
Everybody does it. Send you a joke, come on. It was bad. It was really, taking up a lot of my time when I could have really been working on things, and I took that time to actually work. Outside of my job, there are other things that I am involved in, and so I took that time to actually work on those, and I'm like very happy that 77 is good. That's my goal for next week. Is like next Sunday. I hope to look at that and just get it to a clear 80%, and then we will keep it at that. I'm not trying to be 100% social media free. Just not 9 hours. Not nine
Okay.
hours in a day. That's utterly
It's
insane.
fair.
So
That's a good job. Good for you. Pat yourself on the back.
there go girls. Anything else, ma'am? Oh
Oh,
no.
I
Sorry.
mean, we're at an hour. So do you want to just wrap up, or do you want to talk about movie night?
Oh no, we have to talk about movie night. That was the most fun I had in a while at a movie, seeing a movie because I was allowed to talk. So you open that up.
So really quick, we belong to a movie club. So you already know we're in a book club, but you didn't know we're in a movie club too. And it's just what it sounds like. A movie is screened with a group of people and we discuss the movie after the screening. So it happens at the CIC building. That's here in Providence, Rhode Island. That I know there are other CICs, but the movie club we belong to is part of Afroverse, which is run by Vlad and Mr. Orange, who are well-known spoken word artists here in our community. And they've come up with this amazing concept of having a movie club. And there's actually an open mic first. So there's an open mic where people can come up and do poetry or, speak. And then, I mean, I guess you could do any talent. And then a movie is screened. The first movie they did was Sinners last month, which was amazing. That was a great post movie discussion. And this month's movie was Love Jones, a classic movie for the love ages. And Shahida and I loved watching it with the group that we watched it with because we were able to talk during the film, which is a cultural Black thing that we do. And we were
I
able to
love
actually
talking in the theater though.
express ourselves in the room, which was cool. And then there was actually a more, I won't say structured, but there was a discussion that kind of had some guardrails to it. But it was good, and there was young and old giving feedback, and it was really beautiful. I'm excited to find out what the
There's
next
white and
film is
black
going to be.
mixture, Hispanic in there. There's a lot of
Yeah,
different
yeah, it
cultures
was
running
really
up in there.
good. Yeah,
So
so
the movie was Love
phenomenal.
Jones, as
Yeah,
Tracy said. And I just want to ask because my interpretation of Love Jones completely, because I haven't seen it in what, like, how old is
30
the
years at
30 years?
least.
So I hadn't seen it. I would say a good 20 years because when it first came to like TV, I watched it, a few times or whatever. But I for some reason in my head, he was the bad guy and Nina was the one being effed over. And then watching it last week, I'm like, Nina was the goddamn villain.
She
She
was the
was
problem.
horrible.
She was the
Horrible.
problem. But you know what it is? And then this is one of the things we talked about during the discussion is that we didn't have certain language for things 30
Mhm,
years ago. Right now, we're definitely more informed about emotions, about
mhm,
therapy, about relationships, about communication. Feel like people, like everything is gotta communicate, gotta communicate. God, we weren't
mhm,
talking like that in the 80s and 90s. It was not a dialogue we were having. So our dialogue and our context was play hard to get, silent treatment, sleep on the couch if you're in a
mhm,
bad relationship. That was how we handled, or we were taught to handle things. Now we know better. So watching it
mhm.
in 2025 compared to watching it when it debuted, you're going to have a different reaction because we couldn't see in that moment the things that she was doing that was so
Oh,
jacked.
it was so
Jacked.
clear how she literally told him after weeks of them like dating and getting very close, and she's like, I'm only telling you this because I really care about you, but I'm gonna go to New York and I have some unresolved feelings with my ex, and I'm gonna like see him while I'm there, and I don't know when I'm coming back. What what and
Yeah.
I thought, did I think that was okay in the 90s? Did I
I
think that was
think I thought it was fine. When I watched the
did I
movie,
think
I
that,
did
oh, well,
not.
at least she's telling him.
I don't know what I was watching. I don't know but also we were younger. So we didn't have as many life
And then
experiences.
she came back, and we don't even know what the time frame is,
Ghosted.
how long
She
she's
ghosted
been.
him.
Yeah. And then she came back and didn't even call him to let him know that she was back. And she just happened to see him walking down the street, booed up with somebody while she's in the bookstore, and then just complete.
And
Ma'am, you said you
and
was going back to your man.
and went off the rails because you broke up with him. Now you want to be with homeboy, and now that you're ready for him, now he needs to be ready for you. You haven't spoken to the man. You haven't communicated. And he said that woman was like just a fling. Like I was just
Trying to get over the
passing
shit you
time,
did to
trying to
me.
get over you. And even at the end of the movie, and I said this, she went supposedly after, and she wanted to be chased. And there's nothing wrong with the woman wanting to be
Yeah.
chased. I think she went to try to get him back, and when she didn't see him at the club, she threw in the towel, literally threw the poem she wrote in the trash and was done. She was like, "Oh, he wasn't here.
Good.
Done.
Sure,
Moving
sure.
back on." And she just happened to run into him outside. And now it's an epic love story. Like, no, sir.
And it
No,
wasn't she
ma'am.
just happened. He strategically placed himself where he could see her leave because he reached out. He was the one
He
always reaching
was the
out
one.
to
He
her,
was
not
the
the other way around. He was
one
the glue
trying to have a healthy relationship. And she picked a fight with him for no
every time.
reason when the man was trying to do his work.
Every time she picked a fight, she was
And I'm a girl's girl.
horrible.
I'm a girl's girl. If she was not, if she was in the right, I would say so. She was way, way wrong. Way
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Watch Love Jones. Anyone who's disagreeing
Please,
with me and
gotta
she,
rewatch it.
watch it again.
Rewatch it, and it was, and again, the 90s was just, it was a time to be
It was the
alive. It
thin
was a
eyebrows,
time.
right?
I still don't like that part, but
The
the dress, the coolness, and it was just when like those poetry, venues were just popping up all over the place, and Black people was just out and about and just living their best Martin type life. It was a time, and so it was good to see it on screen, and I'm glad that it has aged well, even though we all figured out that she was the villain, but it has aged well that it's now a classic, and I'm glad that we have that in our fodder. So I don't know what movie they have planned for next month, but I am like I'm inviting
I feel
people.
like I'm going. I'm
I'm
going.
definitely going
We always and even if it's a movie that I think I wouldn't normally watch, I think I'll go anyway just to
because
see.
for the
To
discussion.
yeah, just
Because
to
you
get
see
myself
so
out of the
many
zone.
different things differently when you're open to having a conversation with somebody about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It
always,
got a
so I
little
don't know what
heated
movie
in
they
there.
have next month, but we'll definitely remind you people to sign up because it needs to be a packed room.
Yes,
It
it
needs
needs
to
to
be a
be.
packed room. It's
They can
enjoyable.
the capacity is 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try to fill it up. There was
That's
about
right.
it was about roughly half-ish, third of that this time,
Yeah,
but for Sinners there were a lot more people. I
I
think
can see
it's
that.
it's the movie, but
I
I
can see
will
that.
always repost when they
Mm.
have the next one coming up. Sometimes we sponsor snacks, so if you come when we sponsor snacks, the snacks are going to be bomb. I'm gonna let you know right now. They're going to be the good chips and they're going to be the Hershey's minis with all the Mr. Good bars and all the good stuff. So if we sponsor it, which I think we'll probably sponsor the next one, you can come or you could bring your own snack. A woman brought a Chinese plate. I mean, you could do you. It's up
I
to
brought
you.
some homemade popcorn because I be over the stove popping it.
I had my Taco Bell when I got there, and
Mm-hmm,
Shahida
mm-hmm.
did bring me some amazing popcorn that clearly was kissed with the love of some olive oil. It was
I don't know what just
delicious.
happened. You just see my
Oh my
is
gosh, did you ever
is that my
brown out?
cue? Is that
Are you
no. I kicked the
I was like, wait, Shahida's trying to scare me.
I kicked the light. My bad. Okay.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny. I'm like, what happened?
Ooh, okay. Come on. Here you go. I kicked
Ah,
I kicked the light. I got all excited. I kicked the light. So until next time,
until next time, you know where to find us. Social media, Facebook, Instagram. If you want to watch us on YouTube, full episodes. If you want to listen in the car, on the train, on Spotify, or wherever podcasts are heard. But Shahida, please tell them where they will not find new content from us.
I'm rethinking that we might be on TikTok. I'm sorry.
For now, we're not on motherfucking TikTok, but they do have some challenges
Rethinking
that
it.
look cute. They look kind of cute. We might have to go back over there to the devil's TikTok.
Depends. Let's think.
Just for
It depends on how much Trump gets in there. It depends on how much he gets in there because we don't want to support state-run websites.
yeah,
So
no, we don't
if
want
they
that.
stay out of that, then we'll be okay, and we might dip our toes back in there. But if they go full throttle, state-run, we'll
But
definitely
if you
stay
got to
away.
get your fix, we do have archival content on there, vintage, if you will, content
Mhm.
that's still on there that you can enjoy. But most of our fresh, new, crispy material you'll find on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. Apple
And you
Podcasts,
can watch
Prime.
us on video on Spotify.
Yes, you can.
So you can see our faces, me with my old age pimple. Like I don't know what's happening. You know what it
I
is?
had
It's
one
the
right here
heat
last week. I had
and
one right here.
sweating. The heat. I have a conditioner in my hair now. I don't think I've washed my hair as many times as I have in the last 2 weeks. You know, black girls every other week. You know, almost every 2 to 3 days because I'm sweating like crazy.
So for that reason, we have to do part two of the menopause
Yes, we do.
series. It,
Yes,
it's
we do.
it begs to be done. So look for new episodes of the menopause series coming soon, and look for a new feature from us. It may even be this week. Shahida and I are going to be doing some IG lives, some post discussions. So people often come to us, they watch the podcast, and then they want to talk to us in the supermarket. They want to talk to us on the boat ride about our podcast. Just come to the live and we can answer all the
So we're going to
questions.
talk. We want to talk about on this live coming on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So you need to know the time. You need to know the date, and our discussion is going to be like what we talked about today. So or anything else that you want to, but specifically like what's your take on the Gillette thing? And cheating in general, and
Yeah.
people trying to get away with things in this 2025 world. Like, let's have a conversation about
So
it on.
July 22nd, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Set your clock and call the internets and find out what time 6 p.m. Eastern is in your time zone. Do all the things and come and talk to us. We want to talk to you guys.
I hope that at this old age that people do understand the difference between Eastern Standard Time, Central.
It's not, I don't even think it's that people don't understand, but it's a
Okay,
mind fuck. It is a mind fuck. Because I'm going to
okay,
tell you right
I
now,
get you.
that's why when I go on vacation and I cross more, if the time difference is more than an hour, I just take the time off of work, because trying to do a meeting, it does something to me. It just like, it's like a,
Mhm.
the little stick they had in Men in Black where
Okay,
your brain would just like get wiped. Oh my gosh, I tried to
okay.
do meetings on vacation before, and
Yeah.
I would be so paranoid.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, no,
Well,
just
until
ask
next time,
Alexa.
have you said excellent. Until next time, have a great week. Fight the
Until
power.
then,
Don't fight each other.
I love that.